Hey Kingdom citizens, this is Shinchi42 straight from Kingdom 41. In this video, we're going to be talking about King Kai. He is one of the leaders of the top alliances here, and he's currently not taking the leadership, the kingship right now, but he is actually sharing it to another alliance, which is, you can see how humble this guy is. He is pretty good guy. So we plan to make more videos like this, so if you guys are interested in seeing more videos like this, turn that notification bell on when you subscribe. How are you doing today, Kai?
Hi, Xunqi. I'm Kai.
Alright, so we brought you here to have some interview, and because you are one of the most successful player, or one of the most successful leader in this kingdom. You have 900 million power at this time with your alliance. That is pretty amazing. I want to know, what is the early stages for the ZG6 used to be before 666. What are the mistakes that you have done through in the early stages of the game?
Well, yeah, I'm glad that you go with the mistakes. In the early stage, this one crucial mistake that I made, because I'm new to this game, is that I didn't realize that you have to have the central fort in order to build all the other stuffs, the flags and the second and the third fort. So you have to have your central fort in somewhere in order to build any other alliance building. I didn't realize that, or I just didn't look at the warning. And there was one time I was trying to do some transfer of territory, but I demolished the fort, and then I realized I couldn't build the second fort or the flag, and I had to rebuild it. So that's one mistake that I made in the early game that could be a big killer.
I see. So how did that affect your alliance overall? Like, were you bullied during that time when you were like trying to fix all those issues?
Yeah, that transfer is actually caused by attack from Russian alliances, because in our Kingdom 41, in the early stage, there were a couple alliances that was much bigger than us. We were like rank 12, and there was only 3, I think, Chinese alliances. So we were not that close, and we were like separated into different provinces, and we were really weak in numbers, so we couldn't fight over the Russians. We were helping our allies TAX in the early stage, but we failed. So that's why we do the transfer, and then we transferred to a different province to keep our living forces. And then that's the point I know Xinchi, and that's the point I make the mistake on the fort. And in terms of how it affects, I guess it does give me a challenge in terms of the leadership, because I didn't really want to be the leader. I was just trying to set the alliance up and with my friend, but somehow that's, nobody's really wants to lead an alliance, so I just up there. And then when I make the mistakes, and I realize I have to stick with the mistake. So I guess the thing is that if you make a decision, if you want your players or your members to follow you, you have to stick with your decision. Even if you do something wrong, you could realize it, and then you get a chance to fix it, but you have to stick with it. I guess that's what it matters at those times.
So I guess my question is, do you ever apologize to your members when you make a mistake?
In my memory, I don't think I have apologized a lot, like publicly. Sometimes I apologize personally or to a specific group of people if I make some mistake, or I was out for leading and something happens. I did make some apologies to ENV, because there were some attacks from our members that was uncalled for. I didn't expect that, so I guess I didn't really put out too many big apology to the alliance or anything.
But you've said you did apologize to the personal players, which is good.
Yeah, a small group of people, because in my sense, I feel like if I'm saying too much sorry rather than making the sorry, then it doesn't make sense, right? If you say too much sorry and you don't want to do anything. So most of the time, I'll just try to stop the situation or try to change the situation first before I can say anything. So I'll just do it first before I can communicate.
That's good. That's a good tip. Is basically what you're trying to say here is that action speaks louder.
Yes, yes.
That's good. That's a good tip, especially coming from a big alliance leader here. I kind of want to ask, I actually have something to ask. I kind of drifted away from my brain right now.
It's okay, take your time.
At what time, because I remember you taught me how to build a cavalry unit before I actually published that in the YouTube videos. You were the one who actually taught me about this, but how did you come up to this? What made you come up to this type of build?
So when we talk about playing games or a strategy game or anything, you really have to consider about the resources. So in the early stage, as we all know about ROC, you can the first legendary commander or the easiest one you can get is Minamoto, and he's really good in cavalry unit. So I was thinking about since I don't, in the early stage, nobody has a lot of resources, and how do I maximize the usage of my resources? And I figure out that maybe I check on the talent trees and I figure something about the folk cavalry. If you before the new talent tree was like talent 1.0, right? That was the first talent tree, and it has a buff that if you use only cavalry, it has a 30% speed up buff. So it means that nobody's gonna catch you. So I was thinking I can only have about 80k of cavalry in the early stage. I don't want to lose it all the way on the battlefield. So if there's something happen, I can get away. So I was thinking about that, and I check on the Minamoto, and it does match my thinking. So I tell my members to use cavalry in the early stage, so it's good for fighting, for retreating or whatever. It's just very mobility playing, because we don't have that much, so we have to use it well. So I was thinking about that, and cavalry seems like a really good resource to build on. And then I tell you about building full cavalry, so you get speed buff, and you can easily get Minamoto because it's not that expensive as other legendary commanders, and it has a really good damage and good buff on cavalry. That's the couple of points that I put into.
Okay, that's a pretty good point, but I do want to ask, and kind of more of a practical question here, is building a full cavalry early stage more of a spender player, like more of a pay to play player, because majority of the free to play player is probably not going to be able to maximize training a lot of cavalry units, like say T3 cavalry units. They can't just create 80k right away, just full calves.
Yes, I can tell you that's definitely true, because in the early stage, before you can capture good rewards from the past and from temples and such, you can only get that much amount of speed up. So you really couldn't get a lot of the cavalry group. And when for the pay to win players or for the expander, it's definitely an advantage for them in the early game. So that's why they use a lot of cavalries, and it is true for, I think, all the kingdoms.
Now, to counter this, do you suggest other players to start like a full infantry unit just to counter the players that makes full cavalry with the new talent 2.0?
For cavalry unit, there's something, every unit has some weakness. So if you really have to counter the cavalry unit in the early game, in the early stage of the kingdom, you do like good fight, but you don't do good fight towards infantry because they're too tanky. But cavalry is relatively a little bit talent built, okay, and also the commander's stats. So if you want to get rid of a cavalry group, you just surround it. But if you see a big group of infantry or mixed troop, and better not to do that. Just fighting one by one, it might be better.
I see. So the tip here is to surround a full cavalry unit so that they can't, they get ganged up basically, and they would.
Yeah, and they couldn't get away. So I have a really strict order for whoever plays cavalry group in my alliances, is that you never do a group fight. If you play cavalry, it's either you 1v1 you never 1v2, 1v3. If you see two groups surrounding you, it's either you kill one group fast and then go away, or you just go away.
Okay, that's a pretty good tip. So basically you're trying to say is never have to play 1 versus 1 with a full cavalry units.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
I was restating what you said. I said that it's a good tip that you've suggested to only use full cavalry units during a 1 versus 1 battle. Like if there is a war, isolate your enemy and fight them as 1 versus 1.
Yes, exactly. That's how cavalry should work. And even right now, it is the same thing. But because the difference is in early stage, you can have only that much troop. So most people have like only 1 or 2 group of troops, right? So if you do 1v1 or 1v2, that's totally fine. But right now, when it comes to late stage or mid stage, everyone has 3 or 4 groups. Then your cavalry won't do that much if you just running right into the group fights. It's better that you cut the reinforcement, or you just cut the black line, or whatever you want to call it. Just, if you see someone who's left out and you see one troop that is not in the group, you can cut it off, or you can just 1v1 him. Cavalry is really good for 1v1. It's definitely the winner, even versus infantry.
Really? Even if you have full infantry units?
Yeah, if you use Minamoto and Cao Cao, it's really, it's like a dominate forces for 1v1, even versus the infantry group.
Oh.
I do some testing.
Also,
I'm talking about like the same level of playing, like with the similar stats. Because the skill shot damage and the attack buff from both commanders is actually the really dominated force in 1v1.
I guess you're trying to say also here is because when you're in the early stages of the game, not a lot of players would have legendary commanders, right?
Yeah, but Minamoto, I think everyone could have that, right?
For the infantry. For the infantry.
Oh, yeah. Because in early stage infantry, it's really cool. It's either you get Sun or what's the other guy, the Korean guy?
Yuji.
I mean, yeah, but both of them are not easy to build up because you need those scripture from the event. And even the big spender, they're not going to get it fast because they can't get the Minamoto and Cao Cao fast, I think. Okay,
so we're going to do a last question here. Can you give me some tips for the viewers about what should they be focusing on in the early stage of the game, not just in building their power, but also what they should be looking for in an alliance to be successful in the game? Because at the end, it's the alliance that really makes a difference to your success.
Yes, you're very right about alliances. So first thing I would say is you have to choose alliance with a good lead. And I'm not saying that I understand that this game could have a lot of stuff, it has a lot of different people, can have bullies and such, but the thing is, if you are planning to play this game for long, right, then you'll need a long-term relationship, either with your friends, real-life friends, or the friends in the game. So you have to join the alliance that has someone who is responsible, and he's not just doing things for himself. Because I see some kingdoms, they have some really big alliances breaking down because they're doing things for their own view. So they're only considering themselves to be what the alliance should be. But just choose the leader who is able to consider the member. If you ever see a leader who's talking about how the mid layers and the lower layer of the alliance members should play, or they really concerned about how they play rather than just care about the big spender, then that's a good leader to follow with, like Sinchi.
So basically, you're trying to say is that they should care about the small players and the big players as well.
Yes, no, I mean like the leader should care more about the majority of the group. So you can see it. Not everyone's spending too much. So let's say you have about 15% of the big spender. So if the leader cares about the other 85%, then it's gonna be a very good lead for the long term. Even though he may not do good in the long term, but he's definitely gonna be responsible for helping you out or helping you to get the thing you want.
Yes, that's true. And as you said, that's what we do in TIK. Actually, we really take care of a lot of the members here. Not just because majority of us is not spenders here. Majority is free to play, and
right, exactly.
And we've without your help, actually, to be honest, we would have had a hard time getting up to the ranks as well. But we're very actually grateful that we've connected throughout when you entered our province with BOL.
So, yeah, this is the one tips I would give. But the other one is there's a lot of rewards in the game, the past rewards, the shine, the altars and stuff. So also, if you get into a really good good alliances, that they're gonna pull out more of this reward for you. So they don't really just care about themselves. They'll get a reward for everyone. And this is also the part of the good stuff that could, really help you to get more speed up, and then the germs and other stuff.
Yes, I remember those days where you had to help us to capture some shrines, and it was just like, instantly capturing those. It was really nice, very helpful for us, especially for our growth, having those speed ups and a lot of the resources that we got from the rewards. Those are very good things that you've done for us, and very good tips also what you've said today.
Yeah, we let our allies to get the rewards, so everyone in our allies could get those rewards. So we trust those people, and we trust the lead, so they get what they deserve. So if you see a leaders, thinking about others rather than themselves, then it's a good lead. It's just simple like that. Just thinking about other people.
That's good. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. I want to say thank you for coming in for this first show that we have, or first interview that we have. We're gonna have more interviews in the coming up. So if you guys have not subscribed to this channel, if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Again, Kai, thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me your time here. And I hope to see you again in the next video.
Okay, no problem. I'll see you then.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your opinion, and make sure don't forget to like, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll definitely see you guys in the next video.